Here is a fascinating and potential story and discovery about a moon that is not too far away from Saturn and also, of course, related to Saturn. One of the six moons in this case is Enceladus. We talked about this on our previous video based on the discovery that James Webb Telescope was able to provide. Well, not discovery, but able to show how it relates to its planet Saturn based on its water content and relationship. But here, this particular study dives really deeper into Enceladus in terms of the potential that it has based on its content. We know that Enceladus has some of the big six elements in there that may sustain life, like for example carbon, hydrogen, we have sulfur, we have nitrogen, we have oxygen, but there is one that is actually really of great interest for scientists, and this here was actually discovered, which is called phosphorus. And yes, when you look at humans, you know that phosphorus is found everywhere. Is it ATP for energy, or is it our DNA in terms of the backbone structure, or is it in terms of our bones or our teeth? So phosphorus is really a big deal in terms of the fundamental key elements that is responsible for building life. And so this is a great story that, and also discovery that scientists are actually looking into here, as it shows in this article here that there is a several line of evidence describing how volatile and dissolved materials from the rock core are either emitted by the plume in the gas phase or incorporated into ice particles respectively. Now, in terms of the discovery, previously found that Enceladus ocean is rich in variety of organic compounds, according to this doctor, a planetary scientist at this particular university. But now our results reveals the clear chemical signals of suitable amounts of phosphorus salts that are inside ice particles ejected into space by the small moon plume. So this is really a fascinating discovery about phosphorus salt in here, and how this is actually created in the hydrothermal vents, potentially down beneath its ocean floor that is right below the icy ocean. And so this is really a fascinating discovery about what are the right conditions here that will be able to harness this creation of organic compounds that contains phosphorus. And another big question, according to some scientists, is if there is life, if that is the case, what is it going to look like? Is it going to look like you? Is it going to look like me? Is it going to look like some of the animals that we recognize in here? And my only thought about that might be maybe this might be a young form of life. If that is the case, what do I mean young form of life? In the volatile time of Earth, based on how life was beginning to form in terms of the presence of various elements, in terms of the structure, not only in the oceans but also atmospherically. We know that according to evolution scientists, they talked about how everything started in the ocean, potentially in hydrothermal vents, in terms of all these elements in the right conditions coming together to form crucial simple compounds and also to complex compounds, and later on creating some incredible vessels that may create first cells. And so this here might be one of the origins of this Enceladus story, if they are able to dive really deep into the origin of life in Enceladus. And yes, I know I listed some animals, but in here this might be mainly looking at plankton as the plant form originally in terms of the microbiome, according to this article here, that may be one of the first life that may be spreading out of this particular ocean floors in the Enceladus. As it says in this article here, that phosphorus in the form of phosphates is vital for all life on Earth. Now, it is essential for the creation of DNA, RNA, energy carrying molecules, cell membranes, bones, and teeth in people and animals, and even the sea microbiomes of plankton. Now, life as we know it is simply not all be possible without phosphates. Now, in 2020, it says that we use the geochemical model to predict that phosphorus should be abundant in Enceladus oceans, says this particular researcher. Now we have found abundant phosphorus in plume ice samples spraying out of the subsurface ocean, and now this might be one of the connections with what James Webb Telescope was able to reveal, as this might be a great relationship between Enceladus and how that connects to that of its planet, which is Saturn, because Enceladus is located around the E ring. And so looking at that amount of water and potentially the not only water present in there but phosphates, which are salt that will be spraying out of its moon, it might also be related to how much is going to be depositing into Saturn. We don't know yet at all. So it's only research and more deep dives that may able to dive really deep into this particular relationship about phosphate content in this particular Saturn planet. Now, this might also come up in the terms of, is this also going to help to understand Saturn's potential for sustaining life? And the only time will tell based on that particular question. But in here, further studies here shows that the data were collected by the Cosmic Dust Analysis Instrument on board on NASA's Cassini spacecraft. The measurements not only detected phosphorus in the form of orthophosphate ions, but together with laboratory data suggests that phosphorus might be available at concentrations at least 100 times higher than Earth's ocean. That is really huge in terms of that much amount of phosphorus compared to our own planet. And using a model to predict the presence of phosphates is one thing. Another is finding the evidence of phosphate is incredibly exciting. So by detecting such high phosphate concentration really available in Enceladus ocean, we are now satisfied what is generally considered one of the strictest requirements in establishing whether celestial bodies are habitable, according to this doctor, a researcher at the University of Washington. Now the next step is clear. We need to go back to Enceladus to see if the habitable oceans is actually inhabitable, according to this doctor that is at the Berlin University. And so this here was actually published in Nature, and truly fascinating to have this particular next step pointed out here, and how expensive of course it might be to actually put it out there. Do we have new robotics that will be able to actually go in there and actually take samples, like just like what we have in terms of Mars, and we have all the Curiosity rover, Perseverance? Maybe we can have that as well, but that will be quite a long journey and more targeted towards a moon. So that's going to be fascinating. But yes, it's a big moon, so it can be achieved, of course, and the messaging that's going to be translated back, and all the incredible things that we need to check out in terms of habitability of that particular planet. Definitely humans can't go there yet, because I don't know how the atmosphere of that particular moon is going to look like, but only time will tell for sure. So please hit a comment down below. Let me hear your thought about maybe your excitement or not too excited about this particular news about phosphate, one of the forms of phosphorus that is really of huge amount in this ocean floor of this particular moon. And let's know your thought about all this in the comment section down below. But that way we can talk to you soon. Stay smart as always, and believe in yourselves.